Hello soulmates, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Yetsi Buttons. In this class, we'll be learning how to draft an overbust corset with stylish hem like this. So to start with, I went ahead to mark some lines, the shoulder to the hip length, then the shoulder to the chest line, which is the bust circumference divided by 6 plus 2.5 inches. Next, I marked the bust point, then the front waist length, that's the shoulder to the front waist length. So the next thing you want to mark is the shoulder to the corset length. That should be 4 to 5 inches below the front waist length. You don't want this measurement to be too long. Then I went ahead to mark the underbust measurement, which is the shoulder to the underbust, and you mark like so. So go ahead and input the neck width and the neck depth. When you're working with an adult, you should divide the bust circumference by 12 and you mark like this with a curve. Can you see? So I went ahead to put down the shoulder measurement and I came down by 1.5 inches and I'll connect that to the neck width to form the shoulder slope like so. So next thing you want to do is to mark the shoulder measurement on the chest line as well and connect to the shoulder tip. So I went up by 3 inches and went in by 0.75. So you want to use a straight ruler to connect like that. And you input the bust circumference divided by 4 on the chest line and connect to get a perfect armhole. So next up, we want to mark the bust span measurement, otherwise known as the nipple to nipple measurement, and connect it from the bust point to the corset length. So to tighten the underbust, I used 0.5 and 1 inch because I'm working with bust 33. So when working with a bigger size, you should work according to the client bust. Do you understand? So I'm connecting it like this. Then you should go in with your curve and connect it with slightly curve to the underbust. So connect the bust point to the underbust like that. So the next thing I want to do is to mark quarter of the snatched waist measurement divided by 4. Then I'll add back the dart intake to the side like so. Then I'm just trying to highlight the corset hem here. Then on the hip length, you want to mark quarter of the hip circumference measurement. Then you add the dart intake. You see the way I'm measuring it, which is 1.5 back to the side. Now connect the hip length and the waist length with a curve like this and connect the waist length to the chest line like that and avoid the line coming out like so. So after connecting it, you want to mark the difference between the front and the back waist length. In this case, I have 1 inch. So you connect it to the bust point. So we're going to change the direction of our dart. We want something slightly curved. So I'll be going in by 0.75 from the corset hem and I'll connect it to the underbust like that. Then you measure the dart intake on the underbust and you measure it at the hem of the corset. Remember, we're trying to transfer our dart. Then you have it diagonal like that. Can you see? So I went ahead to clean off the initial straight line that I had. Then on the shoulder, you want to get the mid shoulder and connect to the bust point. So for the neckline styling, come down by 4 inches from the shoulder line and go up by 0.5 inch from the bust point. It actually depends on your preference. You can as well measure from the neck depth to how deep you want it to be on you. So I connected it with my curve like that. Then from the side, you should mark 0.5 inch inwards. Then on the chest line, you want to go up by 0.5 so that the armhole won't be too deep. Then you connect it like this. Then to tighten the overbust, I marked 0.75 on both sides like this. Then you connect with a straight ruler to the bust point. After connecting the overbust to the bust point, I went ahead to highlight the neckline with my marker. Then you want to go in with your tape to measure the length that you have from the bust point to the overbust by the side like this using the centimeter side. then you balance it on the other side because they must match up by the time you want to close the darts. So I went ahead to use my curve to reblend the neckline like this. Have you seen it? Yes, here's the highlight of this tutorial. On the waist length, you come out by 0.25 on the center front dart, and the side dart you go in by 0.25 as well. So you want to mark 0.25 opening on the hem of the corset. What this does is to tighten the hem of the corset hem more, so you don't have too much of opening. So you place your curve like that and you connect it like so. Please study the way I placed the curve in this video. We're no longer working with the straight dart leg again. We're now working with the curvy one that I marked with the orange pen. Can you see? So next thing I'm going to do is to slash the shoulder line to the bust point like this. Then I'll slash the side so that I can have access to the bust dart area, and I'll slash on the bust point. Can you see? You slash two but not through the bust point, and you close down the bust dart like that. And if you notice you have a little bit of shortage at the side, don't fret. Just take your ruler and reblend the side like this. Then on the bust point area, you don't want any curvy sharp points, you want it to be curvy. Then I went ahead to reblend it. So after opening it, this is what you should have. And I'm marking out the darts to show what I'll be working with now. So now I'll go ahead and clean off the initial dart leg that we had. So after cleaning it off, we'll go ahead and close the dart so as to style the hem. So to style the hem, close the dart like this. Can you see? Then you style the hem to your desired shape. At this point, you have to let your creativity comes to play. So if you want something like this, what we have on the screen is design the hem like this. But because I won't be working with that particular design, I have a different design in mind. I came down here by 1 inch and I'll connect it stylishly to the hem. That's to the hip length. So by the time you close it, you just check and you should make sure that you still have your hip measurement intact. Now mark the desired shape that you want at the hem. So I want like a sweetheart neckline, but now I have it at the hem of the corset like this. Can you see? So you want to reblend the lines to match up with the dart initially. So at the back, I've marked the neckline, the shoulder, the chest line, the back waist length, which is 1 inch shorter than the front waist length. So I went ahead to mark the corset length, which is 4.5 inches below the back waist length. So on the chest line, you want to mark quarter of the bust circumference measurement. Then on the waist length, you mark quarter of your actual waist measurement divided by 4. Then on the hem, which is the hip length, you mark the hip divided by 4. So I'll go ahead and connect like so. Can you see? Then you connect the hip to the waist length like that. Remember, we went up by 0.5 from the front chest line. You want to repeat the same thing at the back and reblend with the initial armhole. So I'm trying to style the neckline at the back. I want it to be a little bit higher. So this depends on you, but I like it to be higher so that the design of the highlights can show very well. So from that part, I went in by 1 inch for the back spacing. Then on the hem of the corset, I marked 1 inch inwards too. So you connect like that. So here's where our highlights are going to be fixed. So on the hemline, I'll go ahead and style the hem very similar to the front. And you don't want the center back to be too low. Now I'll go ahead and get the midpoint of the waistline and connect to the neckline and the hem of the corset like this. So you want to open up by 0.5 inch on both sides, making a total of 1 inch. So that means for the front we snatched with 1 inch and for the back we are snatching with 1 inch, which makes it a total of 4 inches. Please, 4 inches is just enough for your corset snatching. So I've labeled my pattern and I will go in by 0.5 on the chest line for the front and the back, so that the bust area won't be opening up by the side. You want the corset to be very firm but not tight. Next is for us to cut out our pattern like so. So you want to cut it out gently. I love this part most because it relaxes my mind. I love to cut out patterns. I love this part very well. So you take it out, likewise the front, then you cut out the dart. Remember, your dart is not part of your pattern, so you just cut it out. I would advise you get a note and make a detailed note on this class, please. And this class is not for the beginners. If you're a beginner here, sorry, you can just take notes and make it so you can try your luck anyway. So here I'm taking out the excess by the side, then you cut out the dart at the front as well, gently, and make sure while cutting you don't cut too deep on your pattern. So just cut it like that, take it off the dart. You don't need the dart. And yes, this is what your pattern set looks like when you're done. So if you feel like reblending the hem, if the hem is not deep enough, you can as well reshape it, but please don't do this too much. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.